have to ask you this question. Have you ever watched Dance Moms?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have.
I'm going to just go ahead and put this out on the internet. I've also watched Dance Moms. I watched Dance Moms with my daughter. I'm not afraid to tell you people that I watch Dance Moms. Welcome back to another one of our SportsLit casts. And today I'm joined by Sophia Muro. Did I do that? How did I do on that? That was pretty good.
That was good.
Yeah, that was okay. So Sophia is here and you are a senior, correct?
Yep.
All right. So Sophia is a senior on the varsity dance squad. And we are going to be talking some Revis dance, competitive dance. And if you guys didn't notice, this is a new intro song. I don't know. It's a little more modern. I'll fade that out a little bit. You know, actually, soundtrack was actually donated to us by a former Revis student, class of 2002. He does music, and he gave us that and said, you guys can use that on your podcast. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. So Sophia, tell me a little bit about your journey as far as Revis dance goes, and as far as dance in general, like as a competitive sport. You guys are a sport here at Revis, right?
Yes.
So how did you get started with dance?
Well, I started dance when I was in 3rd grade. But I never competed or anything, but it wasn't until 8th grade where I decided I was going to. So freshman year, I tried out. Well, in the spring before freshman year, I tried out. And ever since, I've been doing it. Okay,
so you went to Liberty Junior High, and they had a dance team at Liberty? And you participated in this? Or
I did not.
You did not, okay.
And it was also weird because 7th grade, we were completely remote. So 8th grade, I didn't do it.
We're back to the impact of the pandemic and not being in school. And yeah, that was a big thing. I was just talking about this with one of my classes, just not only the way that it affected activities in sports when we were not in school, but just how it affected us as maturing as young people. And I compared it to if we were to take a bunch of 5th graders and next year just tell them all they're freshmen in high school now. That's kind of how it hit, because you're all of a sudden you're in high school and you felt, you were kind of still trying to navigate what it was like to be a junior high student. So they have a dance team at Liberty. You were not involved with that. You were remote. So then you came here to Revis and you got involved right away as a freshman. So tell me about how that sort of, you said you were involved since 3rd grade.
It was just mostly for fun. I didn't train to compete or anything. It was just little classes I took, but it did help me a lot.
So when you say take classes, is there like a club dance team that happens outside of high schools, or how does one get involved in that?
At the Park District, I did it, and you could take classes like ballet, jazz, tap, and that's what I did, and it was really fun.
That's kind of interesting. So when you're taking classes at a Park District, my daughter was doing that when she was little. They gave you like a little bit of jazz and a little bit of tap and a little bit of ballet, and then they had like a recital at the end of the year. So it's something similar to that. How would you compare that? How close is that to what like a competitive dance team is in a high school? Like, what's the differences or similarities between those?
I found that it's a much bigger commitment in terms of hours, practice, because at the Park District, you would practice for maybe like 4 hours, but here you would have maybe 20 hours of practice every week. And that was definitely the biggest difference. And also the style we do here is different, which is palm, and it's not anything like ballet or anything. It's more like sharp and different from that.
You would consider the style of dance that you do is palm, right? How is that different from what cheerleading used to be when there were palms and cheerleaders? And tell me a little bit about how we distinguish between the two.
If like, you know about the style of dance jazz, it's basically jazz, but with the palms in your hand. So there's a lot of turns and tricks and leaps. And that's basically what palm is, but more sharp. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of hard.
I think you described it pretty well.
It's
It's a challenging style of dance, and it is, it's kind of like a jazz sort of thing. Like it's kind of closest to that. You would say it's closer to jazz than it is to ballet or tap, right? And then the palms are like a prop that you have that sort of creates this thing. Is it all the dance teams like that compete? Do they all compete using the same style of dance? Is that kind of, or are there different things you can do?
Well, palm is a very popular style of dance, as well as hip hop, jazz, and like contemporary, more lyrical styles. So there's a big variety of styles at competition.
I have to ask you this question. Have you ever watched Dance Moms?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just go ahead and put this out on the internet. I've also watched Dance Moms. I watch Dance Moms with my daughter. I'm not afraid to tell you people that I watch Dance Moms.
It's a good show.
It's crazy, and it's like a real reality show, but it kind of gives you an insight into the dance competition world. So you would say it's kind of like close to that in what you guys are up to? Yeah.
It's very, hectic sometimes because there's a lot of going on, and there's a lot of like the preparation before it to like getting ready. It's kind of similar to it, I would say.
Yeah.
Not the drama.
Well, sometimes maybe the drama. I don't know. I guess it depends on what's going on with the team. So this is a full year activity or full year sport, but your most competitive season is what season?
The winter.
The winter. Okay. And then what types of competitions and things do you do in the winter?
So we have about 5 invitationals, which is just competing to get like placements and get your scores to prepare for conference and sectionals, which is more important because conference is obviously the schools around your area, and sectionals is when you compete to advance to state. So there's like 7 competitions every year.
What are you up to in the fall?
We do football games, like the homecoming assembly. We do a lot of like the pep with things, you know?
Yeah, the pep, the pep week. I don't even know what do we call pep? It's a pep assembly. What does that even stand for? In the spring, your spring, summer, what's that look like?
So the spring is when you really you focus on preparing for tryouts because we try out in April. So then the months before that you stretch, you do your technique things to get ready. And then summer is when we really focus on like technical things and learning your choreography. So that fall, you're just getting ready to perform.
And then how many people do you, approximately are there on the dance team currently?
Well, for varsity, there's currently 22 girls on the team. But total, there's about 70 from all 3 levels. Our JV white, which is like freshman primarily, and then JV Navy, and then varsity. And
then when you try out, so you get placed on a team, so there is a chance that as a freshman you could be on the varsity team. It just depends on your experience. Does that happen often, or is that pretty rare?
I think it's possible. In years prior that it has happened, but as of now, they kind of want freshmen to be on the JV teams just to get like the experience before you become a varsity member. And
then at the competitions, do you have different levels? Are there freshman, JV, and varsity competitions? So they all get to compete. You don't have to wait until you're on the varsity squad to be able to be in the competitions. Okay. So it's kind of like other sports where they have different levels. But the big one is probably the varsity thing. That's where you advance into the state tournament and so on. Who's like the school in our area that is like the dance school? Like where you're like, okay, if we can match up with this group, we're pretty good.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good schools around our area. Especially the competition that we just went to, a school in Geneva is super good. And they're in our Division 2 as well as Argo because they have a very similar style to us. So they're really good too.
So you said a team in Geneva?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you compete, there's schools literally from all over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they could be 2 hours away, 1 hour away, or like the schools that were next to us too.
So do all of the schools that are typically in our conferences for sports, do they all seem to have a dance team now, or is it few? They're fewer than, so some schools don't have a dance team.
Yeah. I think most schools do.
Most of the schools in our, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the team that you are looking to really beat and compete with and take down is probably Argo. Argo is the one that's good.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
in our conference, especially.
In our conference. Okay.
Because they're very good.
They're
very good.
Okay. Gotcha. What would be the primary difference between dance and cheer?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Thanks.
I would say for cheer, they do have a lot more responsibilities in terms of going to games. So they go to like away games. They go to in terms of football and basketball. For us, we don't go to as much. Definitely the style what we do like we dance, we do turns. We don't focus as much as tumbling and like the flying and everything. So they have definitely different. They're both very difficult. There's a lot of differences too.
Dance is more dance and cheer is more seems like gymnastics and that sort of thing.
Yeah. And they also have a lot more chants. They have chants. So we don't really do that. We have a song.
Yeah. You guys are just going to a song. And well, that's interesting too. How do you choose the music? Where does the music come from that you're doing in your routines? Is it different every year? Is it, are they, is there sort of like a catalog that you choose from that you decide like, okay, this year we're going to do this song, and this song? And is it one artist, multiple artists, instrumental? Is
Mm-hmm.
it, are you mixing songs together? How does all that work with the music?
In terms of winter, our coaches pick a theme, so they go based off of that. But for fall, it's really just, we do a UDA camp, which is where these professionals come in and teach us dances. We do use a lot of music from them, but we also find other music that we like to match.
What kind of music genre are you primarily into?
I think it's just like upbeat music. Like it could be different things like pop music, or sometimes we do more leaning towards hip hop, because if the moves are more hip hop style, then we do something like that. But it just depends.
So it is some usually recognizable music that people are going to be familiar when they hear the song. They're like, "Oh, I know this song," right? It's not like you're choosing music. I've never heard this before. And after high school, is dance something that you would like to continue to pursue, or are you kind of like, some people are like, okay, every sport comes to an end at some point. I've taken this as far as I'm going to take it. What does that look like for you? What are your plans moving forward?
It depends, because I really love performing. I don't want to stop, but also I don't know how hard it will be to juggle both things. So it depends. Maybe. I think maybe.
What are your plans after high school? What are you looking to pursue, or go to school, or what do you got going on there?
I'm still deciding on school, but I would love to pursue something in the dental industry. I think that's something I would do.
Are you thinking like a full out dentist, orthodontist, or are you talking about like dental hygiene, or what are you thinking?
That I'm trying to figure out too.
Still looking at that. So you have some schools in mind?
I know USC has a very good program, and they also have a dance team, so that would be a good option too.
So that was my next question, is the schools that you're going to, they have dance teams. So that's something that you could definitely look into. Do you think that's like a super competitive thing? I mean, that's a Division I school. Do you think that that's, a stretch, or how does that work in the dance world? Is there like recruiting and things like, if you're a football player, it's like, we kind of know who's going to go to a certain school, right? Is any of that?
Well, I know a girl who goes to UIC and is in dance currently. She used to be my captain before, so I could always ask her questions about it. But I think I could try.
So there's a Revis dance student who's now a dancer at UIC.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll have to ask her, like, how does the tryout work, and how does that? Yeah, that's awesome. That would be really cool. Well, you'll have to come back and visit us as a UIC dancer. Maybe bring the captain back. We'll do another podcast and we'll talk about dance after high school, right? And who knows, maybe Revis will become this like incubator for famous Division I college dance team members. What do you think? You ready? Yeah, who knows, right? All right, Sophia. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. That was fun. I think I learned a lot about dance today, right? It was okay?
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. And we'll give you a little outro music here. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.